Hello, welcome to my first crochet video. Wow, I'm so nervous, but yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? So we're just gonna go for it. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make the square for this blanket. This blanket is from the Gilmore Girls, season 5, and the first time we see it is in episode 2. And Rory's sitting on the couch and it's behind her left shoulder, and then there's another throw over top. It's a navy blue throw, I think. So yeah, we've got this square. So here's the little square, and then here's the large square, or rather I should use that one. So here's a little square, 5 rounds. Here's the large square, 5 rounds. You can see there's a bit of size difference. This pattern, the large square, is available on my blog and Ravelry, but I've just updated it with this smaller square, and I shall update Ravelry, but I'm doing the video instead of updating the blog. So you want to make either 6 rounds like this square and then join them as you make each square, or you can make 5 rounds and then join them all together at the end. So I've done a little sample here with a different colour to join, so that's what that would look like. Or you can still do it the same colour. So with this larger square, I've made lots of 5 round squares and then I'm joining them corner to corner in one go. But this one I've done as I go, and it was super quick to make. So the video is intermediate level, not because the pattern's difficult, but just the way I'm delivering it to you. I've got the show on in the background. You can stick the show on too and have me in the background, because it's going to be more kind of podcast style. I'm not going to be giving you crochet instructions, just the pattern instructions. So let's get on with it. You're going to need, I've used DK yarn. This is Shapier's 1820 in Colour Crafter. They also do a Chunky Monkey, but you'd have to use a bigger hook, and I haven't tried it out with that, but go for it. If you do use Chunky Monkey, please tag me in a photo. I'd love to see how it comes out. And you can use the Style Craft as well. They have the same colour, 1820. So if you use UK terminology, you're going to need to know how to make a double crochet and a treble crochet. If you're using US terminology, you're going to need to know how to make a single crochet and a double crochet, and you'll need to know how to slip knot and to chain. So we're going to start off with a slip knot and then chain 7, yeah, because there's a hole in the middle of this pattern, right? So chain 7, and then slip stitch into the first chain. I like to just pull that tight, and then chain 1 just to secure the loop. So into that loop that we've just made, we're going to now make 16 stitches. That's a US double or a UK treble. Yeah, and you can do your first stitch whatever your favourite starting stitch method is. Some people like to do chain 2, some people like to do chain 1 and then a stitch, or however you like to do it, just go for it. And then we're going to make 15 more. Yeah, so 16 stitches all together. I like to do the first 8. I like to do the first 8, count them, you know, check that there's 8, and then push them round to make room for the second lot of 8. I'm chatting to you. I've lost count already. I'm going to try and count as little as possible, because I'm just making it in real time, and hopefully some of you are making one along with me, and I don't want to distract you from your own counting. going to check how many stitches I've got there. 14, so I'm going to put 2 more in there. And then we slip stitch to join. So I slip stitch. When I slip stitch, I learned this little trick off Cypress Textiles. Instead of going into the first stitch, I go into the next one, and then that creates like a fake top on top of that starting stitch. Yeah. And then I chain 1. So on round 2, we're going to make 16 stitches, each stitch in top of the round 1 stitches, and then chain 1 in between each space. So that's a US double, UK treble. So we make 1 stitch again, however you like to do your starting stitch, and then chain 1 and then into the next stitch. And we do that all the way around. So US double, UK treble, chain 1, and then repeat. Yeah. So when you get to the end, you'll have 16 stitches and 16 chain spaces. So for this blanket here, I've used 500 grams of DK yarn so far. I get 15 squares per 100 grams. Yeah, so I've made 70 squares. And it's a good size. When I open it out, it fits across the sofa nice. If you want to make one for bedspread, I would recommend doubling or tripling that number. To be honest, I just made as many as I had the yarn for. Oops, made a mistake. Redo that one. So hopefully everyone watching is a Gilmore Girls fan. I've just rewatched all of season 5 while making this blanket. And this is probably the quickest blanket I've ever made. So when you get to the end of your round, just check you've got the right number of stitches. Right, and then I just slip stitch straight into that chain space, nice and easy. And then I chain 1, and then we're in the chain space ready for round 3. So for round 3, so at the moment you've got 16 stitches and then a chain space in between. When we come to round 4, we're going to want to work above these stitches. There's going to be 2 more stitches in between, but we're going to want to work above these stitches when it comes to round 4. So to make it easy to get into that first stitch, I like to do 1 stitch now. Again, we're using US doubles, UK trebles. I do 1 stitch in the chain space, and then I go into the next stitch. Yeah, and then we're going to do 2 stitches in each chain space and 1 stitch in each stitch. So there'll be 3 stitches per stitch. Yeah, and at the end of the round, we will have 48 stitches. Yeah, so a stitch in each stitch and 2 in each chain space, and just continue round like that. So if anyone makes this blanket, I don't know if I've said this already actually, but if anyone makes it, please tag me. I would love to see, and if you use the Chunky Monkey or a different size weight yarn, I'd really love to have a nose of that. I'd quite like to, I think this blanket would look really nice in white or cream for a cot blanket. And I think it would look nice in like a navy colour as well. And because it's so quick, it would be great for you know, just a car blanket or a good gift. So I'll put the timestamps in. So if you crochet quicker than me, you can zoom ahead. But if you're crocheting slightly slower, you can always press pause if I get to the end of the round before you. I am chatting and so nervous. So I think I'm crocheting a bit slower than normal. So don't worry if it starts to feel like there's too many stitches. It will sort itself out in a moment when we come to round 4 and 5. It kind of all pulls into place. But you want to make sure that you keep your tension consistent. So before you start making squares, you really want to know how you're going to join them so that you know whether you're making 5 or 6 rounds. It'll save you a lot of time later on. But if you're looking for speed, then I definitely recommend doing it 6 rounds, 1 colour, and then just joining on round 6. But I'll talk you through that at the end. We'll just make 1 square to begin with, and then I'll do another video showing you how you can join them. Yeah. So I'm not actually going to go around and count 48 stitches. But what I do is I just quickly sort of eyeball it and check that there's 2 stitches in each chain space and a stitch on top. So now I've got around to the beginning, and if you remember, I only did 1 stitch in that chain space, so I'm going to do the 2nd stitch in that chain space. And then, like I said, when I finish the round, I just slip stitch across to not the 1st stitch, but the 2nd stitch to create that fake top as well. So now I'm on top of the stitch that's on top of the stitch from round 2, yeah? So coming into round 4. So like I say, don't worry if it's all a bit ruffled. Just pop it on a flat surface. You can usually, you know, pull it about and it'll be fine. But this round will sort it out anyway. So when I get to the end of the round, I'm going to chain 1 after that slip stitch. And now I'm going to work straight into that stitch. So we're going to begin with a US single, UK double. Yeah. We're going to chain 2 and skip 2. We're always going to skip 2. Yeah. We're going to go into the next stitch and do another US single, UK treble, and then we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip 2 again, and we're going to do a US double, UK treble. I'm worried I just did the last stitch wrong, so let's just check that I've said that right. So you should have if you're doing US, it's a single, chain 2, single, chain 3, double. If you're doing UK, it's a double, chain 2, double, chain 3, treble. Yeah. Now we're going to do chain 3 again. 2, 3. Skip 2, and you're going to do another US double, UK treble. Yeah. Oops. And we're going to chain 3. And we're back to the beginning of our repeat. So we're now going to skip 2. And do a US single, UK double, chain 2, skip 2, US single, UK double, chain 3, skip 2, US double, UK treble, chain 3, skip 2, US double, UK treble. So you'll notice you've got the first edge and 2 corners now, yeah, and you'll notice it's 2 little stitches and then 2 big stitches, yeah. So chain 3, and we're going to do the little stitch again. Remember, skip 2, little stitch, chain 2, little stitch, chain 3, big stitch, chain, remember to skip 2, chain 3, skip 2 and a big stitch, chain 3, back to the little stitch again, skip 2, little stitch, that's US single, UK double, chain 2, skip 2, little stitch, chain 3, skip 2 and a big stitch, chain 3, skip 2 and a big stitch, and we should be back at the beginning now. So chain 3. So I actually just, when I'm joining after a chain, I miss a chain and I use that slip stitch as the last chain. So I'm just going to chain 2 and then I slip stitch into the top of that US single, UK double, yeah. So we're now on top of that first little stitch, and we've squared our circle. Is that right? Yeah. Don't get worried there, I've made a mistake. So you should have 16 stitches and 16 chain spaces. So now we're just going to go into granny stitches. Yeah, really easy. We're going to make a chain 1 in between each group and a chain 2 at the corners. Yeah, chain 2 at the corners. So we're going to slip stitch into that first chain space. Again, I like to chain 1 and then do your starting US double or UK treble. Yeah, and then do the second one. Chain 1, go into the next chain space, 3 stitches. Chain 1 and we're now into the corner, so you're going to do 3 stitches. So US double, UK treble, 3 stitches, and then we chain 2 and do 3 more stitches. So that's our first corner. Chain 1 into the next chain space, 3 stitches. Chain 1 into the next chain space, 3 stitches. Chain 1 into the next chain space, 3 stitches. So just like a normal granny square now. Chain 1 into the next corner, so we do 3 stitches. Chain 2 and 3 more stitches. Oops. Chain 1 and into the next space. So 3 more stitches. Chain 1 into the next chain space. 3 more stitches. Oops. chain 1 and then into the next chain space, 3 more stitches. Chain 1 and we're into the 3rd corner now, so we do 3 stitches, chain 2, oops, 3 stitches. Chain 1 and into the next chain space, 3 stitches. And then chain 1 and into the next chain space, 3 stitches. Chain 1 into the next chain space, 3 stitches. Chain 1 into the next chain space, 3 stitches. We're actually in the corner now, so we'll do 3 stitches and then chain 2. I think I've just crocheted one of my hairs in there. Now, if I wasn't making a video, I'd stop and undo that, but I am. So we're just going to leave it there. That's why I've got my hair tied up. Chain 2 in the corner and then 3 more stitches. Oh gosh, that's bothering me. I don't know how many stitches it goes back for. I imagine I'm not alone though in doing that. Chain 1 and then into the next chain space. Usually when I crochet my hair in, it's hair that's already fallen out, but I did one time actually chain the hair that was, crochet the hair in that was part of my ponytail. That was a bit of a pickle. And then chain 1 and I'm back to my first group. I've got one more to do in there because I only do 2. So we've got the 3rd one, and then as I said before, I slip stitch. I go across to the 2nd stitch, not the 1st stitch. So if you're doing 5 rounds, you're done. You can just pull that out, give it a little block, and then join them all together with a granny stitch join. If you're going to join them as you go, you're going to do another round of granny stitches. So we're just going to slip stitch into the chain space, chain 1, and then I make 2 stitches, and you want to do your starting stitch however you like to do that, and then chain 1 after your 2 stitches and into the next chain space. Do 3 stitches in there. That's US double, UK treble, and then chain 1 and into the corner, and you just go around like so until you get back to the start. Yeah, I don't think I need to talk you through how to do an extra row of granny stitch. So it will look like that when it's finished. Yeah, and then you can, I will make another video just talking you through how to join them up. So yeah, hope that went okay. Hope you've managed to make a 5-round Lorelai Square, the small 5-round Lorelai Square. I'm waffling now, so in the time that I'm waffling, you may have managed to do your 6 rounds, and it may look like this now. You might not even need any help joining them. So yeah, let me know in the comments how you got on. If you've got any questions, I shall try to answer them. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.